Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be all about the new NATASHA DENONA Hy-GLAM Concealer. I'm going to be giving you all of my thoughts, all of the information and sharing a demo as well as some swatches to help you choose your shade if, like me, you were confused. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is the new Hy-GLAM Concealer from NATASHA DENONA and it has a plethora of claims. It is available in 50 shades and you get 7 mils for £29. As per the brand, it claims to be a long-lasting creaseless concealer with a natural medium buildable coverage and a luminous matte finish. Made with biomimetic pigments and texture perfecting microspheres for flawless airbrush results with a weightless natural look and flexible feel with up to 19 hours of wear. It is also cruelty-free, paraben-free and was made in Italy. And it also claims to improve your dark circles, puffiness and lines and wrinkles after 28 days of daily use. So it has some skincare claims in there as well. And this is available in an absolute whopping shade range, 50 shades, numerous undertones. There are also some color correctors as well. So if you want some color correcting, some extra help with color correction of hyperpigmentation, darkness, under eye discoloration, anything like that, there is a range of color correctors also. So that is great. I don't really use color correctors, but I know a lot of people really like them. So that's fantastic. Amazing number of shades, but a little overwhelming. So I picked up the shade N8, really a wild stab in the dark. Had no idea if it was going to work for me, but this is for medium skin tones with a neutral undertone. So that's typically where I go with my shades. So I kind of felt like that was going to be in the ballpark at least. So first impressions, the packaging is delightful. I love it. I think it's very chic, kind of understated. I like that the shape is a little different and the doe foot looks and feels fantastic. It's got a really nice crisp point that is great for getting into inner corners, down the bridge of your nose and carving out eyeshadow and things like that. So yeah, all of that, it feels nice. I think it's a decent price point and it looks very beautiful as well. So first impressions are great. I haven't had a good experience with NATASHA DENONA concealers previously, so I am nervous, okay? Her previous concealer is one of the worst I've ever tried. If not the worst that I've ever tried. I did not get on well with it. I did predict that NATASHA DENONA was going to reformulate and come out with a new concealer this year, and she has, thank goodness. I'm very, very hopeful this is going to be a vast improvement on the previous one. So without further ado, let's get this to work on these under eyes and see the proof is in the pudding. Okay, so let's, oh, phew. I was not sure about this shade. I literally went in completely blind, having absolutely zero clue if this was going to be like a workable shade whatsoever for me, because I had no idea what the shades were like. This is a neutral shade. It's got a nice neutral undertone. This is like the perfect, you know, it's slightly lighter than my foundation, but like not by too much, which is exactly what I like. The doe foot is ideal. I really like that doe foot. It was really easy to get, you know, nicely and precise into the corners of my eye. It was nice. It picked up a nice amount of product, you know, it didn't sort of put down too much, but I also didn't need to redip. By the way, this brush is the Angie Hot and Flashy from BK Beauty A506, and it is the best concealer brush of all time. Doe foot was also nice and gentle, which I appreciate, and it deposited a nice amount of product. Didn't have to redip either. And this is blending out really nicely. It feels nice and creamy. It's given me like the right amount of coverage that I like. definitely has a bit of that like serum feel. It doesn't feel like super hydrating and light to me under the eye, but it also doesn't feel like heavy or drying as yet, at least. So here is a close-up before I have set the concealer just to see the finish of it. This is supposed to be a luminous matte finish, and I would agree with that. I don't think there's like luminosity at all. It's a matte finish, but it has like, there is a slight sort of soft matte finish to it. I think it looks good. I definitely would agree it's got a solid medium coverage. I wonder about building it. Slightly just because it does say, you know, it's a medium buildable. I would be happy with that amount of coverage that I had got, but I do just want to test the sort of buildable claim and just see how it sort of builds on top of itself and how it layers. Yeah, I do think that's pretty much given me a full coverage now. It was starting to slightly crease, but I hadn't set it yet, so I'm going to give it the grace of that because I always set my concealer, so that's only fair to do this before I judge it too harshly. Yeah, so I definitely do think that it has built nicely. No problems with it building on itself. It's not sort of balling up. It's not, you know, drying down too quickly to allow you to build. So I think that everything is looking really nice at this point. So I'm going to set that using my Pat McGrath under eye powder, as I always do. So far, I am enjoying it. I will say it claims to be like a hydrating concealer. I don't feel, it doesn't feel hydrating like the Dior does. Like that one, it's like, it feels like you've got like eye gels on, you know, those like under eye patches. It feels like you've got those on, really light and fresh and hydrating under the eyes. This doesn't feel like that, but it doesn't feel dry either. It just feels like pretty lightweight. I can feel that I have concealer on, but it doesn't feel heavy by any means, but it's not feeling fresh and hydrating like the Dior, and it's definitely not sort of luminous like that one. This just seems like a more matte concealer. Okay, so here is the concealer set, and I think it's looking good at this point. Now that it's set, it's done away with almost all of the creasing. If I stretch my face, just there is a teensy little bit, which I probably could have got rid of with a sponge, but really, really teensy tiny bit. So at this stage, I'm super happy with it. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and give it a second to dry down and just see what it's doing while I move my face, while I no doubt drink a coffee. Whilst I'm finishing the rest of my makeup, I'll be back and we'll see how it's looking. Okay guys, we are back. It's only probably been half an hour since I saw you last. I know, I can't believe it. Have you missed me? So yes, all I did was the rest of my makeup. I did like the intro and all of the rest of the bits for this video. It's probably been half an hour. Things have slightly gone south a tiny bit, and it's making me nervous, okay? I'm scared. Let's take a really close look at these under eyes. I'm going to stretch my face down so you can see hopefully what is happening up in my bags. So we have some creasing, okay? We have some creasing already, and it's such early days that I am concerned. The coverage, and I think from a distance, I think it looks great. I really like the shade. I like the coverage. I really feel like my under eye areas look aged, okay? I'm 39, I'm not a spring chicken. I have under eye lines, okay? So they're going to be there. I don't expect a concealer to like erase them, but this is making them worse than they usually look in comparison to my favorite concealers, I feel. And the creasing is disappointing because that's not something that happens with like my favorite concealers, which are, for reference, the Huda Beauty, the Pat McGrath, the Dior, those are kind of like my top 3 favorites. So to see like this creasing happening like straight away when I did really nicely set it with my usual setting powder, I'm alarmed what is going to be going on under here in like a few hours time. So at this point I'm like, if it stops like this, I'll be okay with it. Will it be my new favorite? Probably not. But if it gets worse and worse and worse, I'm scared, okay? It feels nice. From the plus side, it feels okay. I don't think it feels weightless to me. I've definitely had concealers that do feel lighter, more weightless and more hydrating than this, but it doesn't feel heavy or drying either. But yeah, I do feel like at this present moment, the lines under my eye here definitely look worse than they do typically when I use like my favorite concealers, and the creasing is definitely more than I usually get with the concealers that I love. So this is the starting point. I'm going to go about my day. I've got a busy day, okay? We're going to see some houses, and then we've got school runs and a disco. I'm not going, I'll just be chaperoning, but yeah, there's a lot going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this concealer a good few hours, and then we'll come back, and hopefully this is looking the same. Pray for me, okay? I need you. I need your power. This could be an embarrassing day for me, but we're taking one for the team as usual. So see you in a few. Keep these crossed. Okay, guys, we are back. What time is it? It is almost 5 o'clock. So it's been almost 7 hours since this concealer initially went on. It's been like, I don't know, 6 hours since you last saw me. 7 hours of wear for this concealer, and I'm pleased to report back, I don't look bonkers, I don't look horrendous, which to be honest was what I was expecting. I thought, based on, you know, the starting point with my makeup finished, the concealer having been on sort of 30 minutes, I was worried, I feared for my appearance. I thought we were going like on a slippery slope downhill to creasy, crinkled, terrible town. That's where I thought we were headed. But let's zoom you in and have a close-up look on these under eyes. So I've just been looking at myself at this under eye area, and I think, which was the best case scenario for me, it basically looks the same as when I left you. So I do think it is slightly exaggerating the lines under my eyes in comparison to how I like them to look when they're usually with, you know, my favorite concealers that are great. The creasing, if I just stretch my face so you can see what is in the lines. That has basically stayed exactly the same as it was when I initially did that check-in. It hasn't got any worse throughout the day. So I would say that it's a tiny bit of creasing, but it's nothing dramatic. It's not seriously bad. If I didn't like stretch my face like that, you probably couldn't even see the creasing. What it is looking is a little age. It's a little aging under my eyes. It looks a little dry. It looks a little heavy, a little unflattering under there, but it feels nice. So yeah, this one it's like a game of two halves. It's, you know, there's pros and cons here. So in summary, my feelings about this little concealer from Natasha Denona, it's wildly better than her first one. That's without question. If I had to give her first concealer a mark out of 10, I would give it a 1, and that 1 would just literally be, it was a concealer. You got 1 point for that. It was what you said it was, kind of. You get 1 point because you made a concealer. This, I would give it like a 6. 6 on a good day, maybe a 7. I think it's got some good things going for it. The shade range, out of this world. The packaging, I really like it. Love it. I'm going to say love. I love the packaging. The doe foot, love it. Feels nice, great shape, picks up a nice amount of product. The shade range, not only the number of shades, but the number of undertones, and I specifically like the shade that I tried today and the undertone of it. The creamy texture I really liked, and it blended out really, really nicely, and I think it has worn well as well. Like, I'm not noticing any darkness like reappearing, it's not fading or anything like that. All good things, great things. It feels pretty comfortable. under my eyes. I don't think it feels completely weightless, and I don't feel like it is hydrating, but it's also not feeling dry, heavy, uncomfortable. It's, you know, it's in the middle. So those are all good things. Obviously it has creased a little, but certainly not terribly, the worst I've ever seen, or badly at all. This is a like reasonable amount of creasing for me that I don't mind. You can't really notice it unless I'm showing it to you. So that's all great. It's definitely a little aging for me. You know, I'm 39, like I said, I do have lines under my eyes. If I was 20, this might be my new holy grail. It's got great coverage, it's got a great shade range, great natural undertones, blends nicely, covers nicely, all of that good stuff. And if you didn't have, you know, lines under your eyes, if you were maybe 15 to 25, 29 even, who knows, and you don't have any under eye lines or texture, then I think you will love it a lot more than I do. But for me, it's like I said, it's like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It's a lot better than the first one. I 100% will give them that. But yeah, it does exaggerate my lines. It is giving me more lines than I usually have. They're looking heavier than they usually look. So that is a big drawback. Obviously, this is the first time I'm using this concealer, so I'm going to keep using it. It's not so bad that I'm not going to use it again. I want to use this again and maybe not build it. I wonder if I hadn't built the concealer up, it may not have been quite so heavy in my under eye area. I don't think so, because I think we already had that after the first application before I built it up, but I'm certainly going to try it that way without building. I didn't really feel like it needed building. I just wanted to do that for the science. But I am going to try using a smaller amount and see how much better of an application and result I can get out of this concealer. Can I get it to a 7? Is the question. But I would say that my 3 Holy Grail concealers, the Pat McGrath, the Huda Beauty and the Dior, are all very safe. I think if you have a drier under eye than me, I think you may have more problems. I don't find it hydrating. I think there are much more hydrating concealers out there, particularly the Dior, which has all the good stuff about the Natasha Denona, but that one actually feels really hydrating and it looks fresher and more hydrated. So I think you'd be better off with the Dior if you have a drier under eye. I think if you're a lot younger than I am and maybe you have an oilier skin type, you don't have any dryness under your eyes, you might give it an 8 or a 9. So I think it's a decent concealer. It's not wow off the scale Holy Grail status, but it's a solid, decent concealer with some pros and some cons. So please, as always, if you have tried this concealer, let us know how you got on with it in the comment section down below. Did it go better for you or worse? Please let us know how you've done. If you have tried this one already, I would love to know everybody else's experiences with it, because it's always so different. But I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.